It's Laura Eubanks of Design for Serenity with your grand reveal in South Park / Golden Hill and your succulent tip of the day. We did it, guys. We beat the rain. I mean, barely. It's cold and it's about to drop down. But I thought it was an opportunity to answer a few questions that you've had. Thank you all so much for your thoughtful comments throughout the course of this installation. And now I'm going to answer your questions. One, aren't I concerned about the rain, all of this rock running off? And the answer is no, because it's not going to happen. And the reason it's not going to happen is, remember, we dumped yards and yards of amended topsoil down, right? And then we've got in the highest points of the yard at least 3 inches of rock between the chamois beige 3/8 and the 3/4 inch burgundy lava. This rock is thick, so in essence, what that's going to do when the rain comes down, even when it's heavy, is it's just like a sponge, just soaks it right on in. So no worries there. Also, I have strategically placed boulders, plant material, and rubble in key places where I feel like it might be a little steep or where there might be the potential for some runoff. A really, really good comment that a couple of you made was you weren't really feeling the cactus in the tipped Talavera pot, and you wanted to know WTF was I thinking, and I'll tell you. And it's not that I'm right; it's just what I wanted to do. You do you. But my thought process was, when you're doing Talavera, in my opinion, the plant becomes secondary or a supportive cast member. The pot is the star. So I don't want to do a busy design that's going to take away from all of that beautiful intricacy of the Talavera. And I don't want to put a spiller in it that's going to, again, encroach and take over the whole pot. So thus, my cactus and my fireglass, when the day comes that cactus gets to be too big for the pot, I'll take it out. And believe me, it's going to be a minute. It's going to be a hot minute, because another thing, oh God, there's so many things. I don't like running irrigation drippers into pots, just my personal preference. It's really hard to control the amount of water that a pot will get, and they tend to get waterlogged. So, and I don't like the look either. I don't like the look of the black and the plastic and all this stuff. So I choose plants that are xeriscopic in nature and aren't going to require any supplemental rainwater.
And then for your tapestries, you separate a lot of the plants too, right? And then turn them in, like those apples, for example. So you have
Yes.
separate.
And, you know, with succulents, these traditional rules don't apply. You know, like this little stand of aloe here, it didn't come this way, did it? It came in a 1-gallon round pot, but we were able to accordion, to fan it open, to take hunks and pieces of it and mold it to our will. That's kind of the point. You know, these plants, I've said this often, are the closest thing to plastic in the horticultural world. So, you know, my tapestries are done in such a way that these plants will continue to knit together and grow in a spectacular mosaic fashion. And I won't need to show up here for a minimum of a year to do any kind of maintenance. I know what grows tall, I know what grows wide, I know what's compatible, I know what isn't compatible, just from experience, from all these years of doing this. So that's that on that. Another really good observation that one of you made was in regards to the Kalanchoe orgialis over here. So I had mentioned that Waterwise sent some bonus plant material. I didn't actually choose Kalanchoe orgialis. They just gave them to me for some reason. This wasn't going to be part of the aesthetic. And it's not that I don't love this plant. I actually really like it here, but it just wasn't, you know, just wasn't one that I necessarily wanted for this job. Had I ordered this plant, I would have got 5-gallon specimens. So the question was, okay, you have all these kalanchoes. I think we had 6?
I think it was 8.
8 1-gallon
4, 6, 8. Yeah.
kalanchoes, and you said, well, why did you clump them all together when each of these individual plants has the potential to get 4 feet tall by as wide? What were you thinking? And not traditional. That's what I was thinking. I was not thinking traditionally. In traditional horticulture, yes, it's irresponsible to plant shrub-type plants very, very close together because it turns into a complete maintenance nightmare over time. But with succulents, I want bang for the buck. I want the gardens that I install to look like they've been here for 10 years on day one, knowing that I can come in and manipulate these plants anytime I want. Unlike a traditional shrub, you can't exactly take a traditional shrub and cut a branch off and stick it back in the ground to control the size.
And that could still grow together to be a beautiful
Yes, and
stand.
this will grow together to be a beautiful stand, and it'll just happen a little faster. So, and had I just put one here, one little 1-gallon, no, that's just not me. It's not my aesthetic. I go big. So that was my reasoning, and what is always my reasoning behind the way I install these plants. Also, keep in mind that we were working with some mature specimens in this garden already, like this Picarnia recurvata. This was about, wouldn't you say it was about where the rock was, the boulder? So I moved this giant plant over 3 feet because I could, and it doesn't care. So remember that with succulents, at any time, you can dig them up, you can cut them, you can reset them, you can move them. They're not oak trees.
How often is irrigation?
And the irrigation is set for once a week, 10 minutes. And, you know, we're kind of guessing with irrigation when we first set up a system because we're new to this area. We just have to kind of ride it out and see how it goes. But these plants are so incredibly forgiving. Less is always more with irrigation. Remember also, we had these big attenuatas in the landscape. So I didn't want all of my new plants coming in to be dwarfed in comparison with these. So the idea of beefing up the installation and choosing larger plants is what it's all about. Okay, now this parking strip, some of you had concerns about the barrel cactus that I planted in the parking strip as being a safety hazard. Okay, point taken. It wouldn't feel great to fall on your face on a barrel cactus. This is true, but they're really small, and this area here isn't going to get any irrigation, and I just think it's worth the risk. Now, over time, in, I don't know, 5 years, if this thing grows and gets bigger, we'll simply take a shovel, dig it up, and move it somewhere else.
Look at the parking strip over there. There's a agave down
Oh yeah, then if you look around a lot of the neighbors, there's cholo cactus over in that parking strip. There's giant toothed aloes over there. You know.
too. I mean, it would hurt to fall on a rock.
Yeah, it would hurt to fall on a rock. So anywho, it's not that I'm discounting your concerns, they're valid. But I don't know, I just think that the benefit outweighs the concern.
How much burgundy did you bring in?
I brought in a half a yard of burgundy 3/4 inch, and I am stoked with how this looks against the color of the house. The chamois beige is banging. The pots, those entry pots, and I know it's a cactus right next to the mailbox. Am I a sadist? I don't know, maybe I am. I should probably unpack that in therapy, but I don't know. I just think people will have sense. You know, they'll be careful. They'll see, oh, a cactus. Let's not, you know, I don't know. Anywho, okay, so what else did you guys have concerns about?
People stopped by today too.
Oh gosh, yes, and I missed them all. I'm so sorry, guys. I had to run some errands. I had to go get fiberglass today. So we had Cammie.
Who is about to be a master gardener?
Cammie, who's about to become a master gardener. Congratulations. And a couple of followers that, Mary and Mark, that had sent me pictures on Instagram of some really cool barrel cactus that they got for free, that they installed in their yard, and they look 100. So I'm sorry I missed you guys, and I really thank you for stopping by the installation. Yeah, I mean, we didn't wet this one down today because we are expecting another deluge. And I don't want to, you know, I don't want to tempt fate. These plants just absolutely do not need the water. And everything's fairly wet too from the rains that we've had. So the rock wasn't really all that dirty.
It's so clean.
Yeah, and it's just, look at how much, I mean, if you go back to the day one video, you saw what a hot mess this parking strip was. And we really didn't do a lot of designing in here. We just edited. We took out a lot of stuff and got rid of the ugly wood chips and brought in some, you know, some 3/8 gravel, and
Like if all you have is
limbed up the crafts with us. Hannah's just so excited she can't. I should put a mic on you today.
well, if all you have is the top dressing at the top and boulders and a couple of potted plants.
Yeah, we just have the top dressing, a couple little boulders, and some potted plants. I mean, look at that. It's so simple and so clean and so pretty and thoughtful. Can you guys see it? Can you see this garden in your mind in another year, 2 years, 3? How exquisite it's going to get. Just better and better and better with every passing day, every passing month. I can't wait to follow this garden. And our homeowner is a gardener, and she knows her way around a succulent. So I'm very confident that she's going to do a spectacular job of maintaining all of these plants. So our next installation is going to be up in Claremont in Los Angeles. We're going to be doing a pseudo xeriscape in our son John's front yard. The grass is going. So look forward to that. Stay dry, stay safe. Thank you all so much for following. This has been Laura Eubanks of Design for Serenity with your grand reveal in South Park, Golden Hill, and your succulent tip of the day. Bye, guys.